What does the story of RuneScape actually look like? How would it go if you did the quests by the timeline and locked yourself to content that would have been available at that time in the story to the player? The adventurer only training in areas they'd already visited and leveled slowly, growing stronger as the journey progresses? Well, meet Storyscape, an account and series that aims to answer just that. So join us on our journey through the lore and story of RuneScape.
Journey with me to
Before we get into this one, thank you all for the comments on the last one about Catherby, which honestly made me feel kind of dumb, because as a few of you guys pointed out, that is kind of why the quest was added in the first place. So, next on the list is Jungle Potion. Another one of the older quests in the game that has had no significant changes over the last 2 decades. The story begins deep in the heart of the Karamjan jungle, south of the Musa Point Peninsula in the small tribal village of Taibo One Eye. I had to go through Brimhaven to get here, but I'm not unlocking that for skilling or resource gathering, etc., because it features in plenty of quests down the line. I will have that lodestone though. It seems far enough away from the town. But anyway, upon arrival in the village, Storyscape realises that it's largely abandoned, a fact that is barely elaborated on by the village shaman, Trafita's Shakaya, who informs us that too scared to remain, many of his people have fled into the jungle, and that he will need to commune with the gods to attempt to rectify the situation. Now, no communion with the gods is possible without some pretty strong drugs, and to create this special mind-altering brew, Trafitas requires the adventurer to scour the island for 5 rare herbs, and in exchange, he will train us in herb lore. First on the list is snakeweed, a herb which grows near vines where the ground turns soft and the water kisses your feet. You mean the beach? You do know what a beach is, don't you? You live on an island. To the southwest of the village we soon find the vines and rummage through them to find our prize. I wish the water would stop kissing my feet without consent. Next is Adrigal. It is related to the palm and grows in its brother's shady profusion. What? He sends us north to a small peninsula just south of the big peninsula where we get attacked by bugs, before harvesting the Adrigal from the base of a palm tree. Ow! Fuck! Thirdly, we have to find Ceto foil, a herb that apparently grows where the soil is blackened by living flame. What's with all the riddles? If he wants the herbs, why dance around it and not just tell me? Oh well, here's a fire pit. Probably some Ceto whatever here. The penultimate herb we need to find is Valencia moss, a herb that apparently grows on rocks with a high metal content in a frequently disturbed environment. He said it was southeast, so I'm guessing this is it. He's telling me where to go anyway. They aren't even good riddles. Will you just shut up complaining? It's not hard to work out, just get on with it. Fine. The final ingredient for the jungle acid is Rogue's Purse. Trafitas warns us that it could be a more dangerous herb to acquire as it can only be found in the pothole caverns on the northern side of the island, and directs us to the nearest one. Following the cliffs around to the west of the Adrigal Peninsula, we eventually come across a small opening in the base of the cliff and climb down into the dark recess, finding ourselves in a cavern inhabited by jungle ogres, or joggers as they're more commonly known, who don't hesitate in smacking the shit out of Storyscape, at which point we decide it's probably best to come back better equipped. All geared up, we return to the cavern and this time are able to surge straight through to the moss that houses the Rogue's Purse, getting hit just once by the joggers. Maybe I should have just come this way last time. After delivering the herb to Trafitas, he says that he must leave to prepare the potion before rewarding us. And upon completing the quest, everyone just reappears in the village. Maybe we'll find out later on why they left in the first place. I don't know, I honestly can't remember if we ever do. But RuneScape is an old game, and over its lifetime, almost 340 total quests have been added to it. At the time of writing this episode anyway, there's probably going to be a few more before we finish the series. Some of these quests have become infamous within the community. Normally it's because of some notorious disproportionately difficult puzzle. In fact, there is one whole quest series that has been consistently marked by the community as containing some of the most tedious puzzles in the game. Fortunately though, the first couple aren't too bad at all. It's time to start Elemental Workshop Part 1. Back in a house that stinks of garlic in the village of the Seers, the adventurer finds a book called the Elemental Shield, which speaks of an ore with special properties discovered nearby in the early years of the 5th Age. This strange metal, much like the rune essence, was capable of absorbing the various elements of magic. Over time, more and more powerful weaponry was devised in a specially designed workshop, eventually leading the Magi of the time to seal it off, preventing access to the ore and technology within. This book, however, survived, and within its spine we find a key. I tried so hard to think of a legitimate reason that the adventurer was in this random dude's home rifling through his books, but I couldn't, because this is just fucking weird. Maybe he knew the homeowner and they just grabbed a cup of tea, sat back, and relaxed. together before he recommended the book. I don't know, why do you guys think he was here? But anyway, figuring the best place to start looking would be the nearby smithy, we quickly notice some strange markings on the rear wall, unlock it with a key and head down into the abandoned workshop. Then starting in the north, we find ourselves in a room filled with water elementals as well as an inactive water wheel, restarting it by opening the valves on either side and pulling the nearby lever. Next, Storyscape decides to search through the crates in the main room, hoping to find anything that may have been left behind, finding a piece of tanned leather and a strange stone bowl. To the east, we find a room teeming with air elementals, along with some damaged bellows, which we repair with the leather we just found and some thread we needed to go quickly buy from Jack of All near the Berthorpe mine. To the south, things get heated as, surrounded by fire elementals, we scoop some of the lava out of the trough in the stone bowl and use it to restart the nearby furnace. Then to the west, a pile of rocks springs to life and attacks us, revealing itself to be an earth elemental, and once it's dead, we mine its corpse to acquire some of the mysterious ore. Using his vast knowledge of metallurgy, the adventurer realises that the ore is likely too pure to form an ingot from, and combines it with 4 pieces of coal gathered from the nearby dwarven mining site. Then on the specially designed anvils in the centre of the workshop, forge it into an elemental shield, which completes the quest, but the tantalising knowledge of working magics into weaponry and armour would sit with the adventurer, and they will one day return to explore the workshop once more. For now though, the adventurer has received word from Drezel, whom we rescued from Zamarakians trying to taint the blessing on the River Salve in Priest in Peril, that he once again requires aid, and so begins Nature Spirit. He started off by giving us the post-quest dialogue about the dagger he gave us last time, known as Wolfbane, warning us about the werewolf trading post just to the east of Patadomus, and that should we encounter any of the hirsute beasties, the dagger will prevent them from transforming. So, yeah. Maybe I should have just spoken to him after the quest for access to that particular area. Although he never actually mentions it by name, I feel like this one was a little more ambiguous than Catherby via fishing contest, but to be fair, it honestly wouldn't have made any difference at the time anyway, but it might do for the next training session. To the south of Vigorous Folly, in the desolate decaying swamps of Mortmire, once a lush forest before Draken's conquest of Mauritania, is now an evil place where those who die within are cursed to wander the noxious waste as ghasts, unique, untouchable, unkillable undead unanimously united within the area, who attack those unfortunate enough to find themselves within its borders, rotting their food and supplies until they join the ranks of undead themselves. There lives a druid known as Philemon Tarlock, known for using his powers over nature to guide travellers through the area, whom Dressel hasn't heard from in a while and asks us to check in on him. He warns us not to try and take on the gas, as none but Philemon know how, and gives us some meat pies to deliver to the druid, telling us that he lives somewhere on the southern side of the swamp. Storyscape ventures through the cursed land, losing only one of the pies to the ravenous spirits, before finding a small island with a ghost standing in its centre. Ah shit, I hope he's like the one in Ingram's mansion and not like the ones in Lumbridge Graveyard. Can't deliver that with a straight face. Fuck. So we teleport to Varrock, grabbing the amulet of Ghost Speak from the eastern bank en route back to Mauritania. Inform Drezel of Philemon's fate, but reassure him that his friend doesn't seem to have become aghast, head back through Mortmire, this time losing a cake, and finally speak to Philemon, who is happy to finally talk to someone, but thinks it's us who are dead, and we tell him about the amulet, and he straight up denies the possibility that he might be the dead one. So we grab a mirror from the nearby table and show him his reflection, or lack thereof, which still doesn't seem to convince him. Well, that is the most peculiar thing I've ever experienced. This mirror must somehow be dysfunctional. Strange how well it reflects the stagnant swamp behind me, but there is nothing of my own visage apparent.
I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's dead, that's what's wrong with it.
No, it's resting, look.
The poor man does eventually accept his fate, however, and ponders why he hasn't become aghast, and seeing that this could be a sign of something incredible, asks us to locate his journal, which we soon find hidden in a knot on the nearby tree, and unable to resist, Storyscape tries to read the diary, only to find the contents pretty boring, finding vague ramblings of a nature spirit and something from nature, faith, and the spirit freely given. But Philemon apparently learns of his own demise from it, a violent and bitter end, he says, and that doesn't sound boring. I'm kinda curious now. Being a druid of some considerable power in life, he believes that the fact that he hasn't become aghast is a sign that he can become a nature spirit and protect the lands. The phrasing here is kind of interesting. It's almost as if there was at some point plans for this area to be reverted to its forest form, but then they ended up doing the Mythic questline instead. But anyway, wait, am I overusing that? I think that's like the third time I've said it in this episode. But anyway, Philemon asks for our help with his transformation, requiring the 3 things he mentioned earlier. The only one he knows how to get, however, is the something from nature. He hands us a spell scroll and instructs us to get blessed by Drezel and then cast it somewhere in the swamp. Before blessing us, Drizzle remarks that we have something of the faith about us, which gives the adventurer an idea before teleporting us back to Philemon. Couldn't he have done that earlier? I mean, maybe not the first time, but certainly after we told him that Philemon was dead. We cast a spell nearby and place the Mortmire fungus it produces upon the flat stone marked by a nature symbol near Philemon. The used spell scroll goes opposite as the something of the spirit freely given, and we stand on the flat stone in front of Philemon, using ourselves as the something of faith. Philemon successfully casts his spell and invites us inside his grotto to witness his transformation, and to reward us, he promises to bless a silver sickle for us, which will apparently allow us to fight off the gas in the swamp. So we quickly go and make one in Alcarid, Drizzle teleports us back, Philemon fulfills his promise, and the quest doesn't end. Instead, Philemon says he can transform his grotto into an altar of nature. Before this though, he needs to be sure that we can keep the gas at bay and asks us to venture out and slay 3 of the spirits, releasing their souls from the swamp, and gives us a pouch to store items of nature that we can then invoke to bind the gas to the physical realm. Bloom, 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 kill, kill, kill. Very pretty in here. So in the last quest in this series, Drizzle told us about the Order of Temple Knights, elite Saradominus warriors whose actions were pivotal in pushing back the tide of Samarakian undead from Misthalin during the 4th Age. In What's Mine Is Yours, the adventurer met Ceramic Vars, the current leader of the White Knights of Falador, and now goes to ask him about the Order, kicking off the Temple Knight quest series with Recruitment Drive. Ceramic tells us that the Temple Knights are always looking for new recruits, and that he has in fact already put our names down as a potential member, which... why? He's met us once, when he was almost scammed by Varrock. You used to have to complete Black Knight's Fortress to start this quest, which has you become an honorary member of the White Knights, so he kind of had a reason to recommend you, but that was reworked into a 6th Age quest back in 2013. And that's a great quest, but now we've done next to nothing for Ceramic at this point in the story. Maybe if they'd put Knight's Sword a little earlier on, so we've actually done some work for the White Knights. I don't know, maybe he's heard of your exploits through the Champions Guild or from the Berthorpe Guard or something. But either way, he sends us to certification in Falador Park to get tested. And here we learn a little lore about the Ordo Templari Saradominus, an order founded by Saradomin himself roughly 5,000 years ago at the height of the God Wars, and they take orders from none but the God of Order himself. He says that Surveillance, the Order's head of operations, claims that everything they do is with Saradomin's implicit permission. How he's interpreting that with the gods banished from the planet, I'm not entirely sure. I just hope we can trust him. The Knights of the Temple are so well respected within the kingdom that some of the higher station members outrank even the King of Asgardia himself. Tiffy even hints that they may be able to exert some of the same political power over the other Saradominus kingdoms. Despite their famous disposition, however, most of the work they do is top secret and not a matter of public record. Amik has apparently told Sir Tiffy all about us, so he's got to be hearing about this young up-and-coming adventurer from somewhere, I guess. The testing will apparently focus on the applicant's mental aptitude. They have plenty of White Knights who can think hard, but the Temple Knights require a certain je ne sais quoi of their members. We will have to complete 5 intelligence tests in a secret location to prove that we have what it takes. No equipment may be taken inside the testing area, but we will be free to quit at any time. And after depositing our shit in the bank nearby, the test begins. Given the fact that Storyscape is still male, I'm sure many of you can work out how the first attempt went. That's right, I misinterpreted Misinterpret's question and instantly failed the first room. The second attempt I got certainly first and instantly failed that too, by trying to pick up the hourglass when I was just supposed to stand still.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
On the third attempt, we solved Serenitude's riddle, scienced our way through Mischievous Room, then the inevitable happened when we came across Circumference and Soleil. No man may defeat me. Well, time for a sex change then, I guess. Just outside the city lives a makeover mage who absolutely ruins our colonist outfit when making us female, so I had to pick a new outfit, of course. And I'm not going to comment on the quality of the outfits here, but the Musketeer one doesn't look too bad. On the fourth and final attempt, we once again got certainly first, and I stood still for a full 3.5 fucking minutes before realising that I had to speak with him to initiate the timer. For Suspicious, we solved the fox, chicken and grain puzzle, which Google AI says is apparently over 1,000 years old. In the third room, we once again meet Circumference and punch Soleil, who's wearing full plate armour, with our bare hands. But it works this time, because we're a woman. Lady Table gives us a quick memory test in the 4th room, and finish off with Mischievers and science the shit out of probably the longest and most complex puzzle in this quest. So we are now an official member of the Temple Knights, an organisation which apparently doesn't get a great deal of funding from the Crown, because we've got to buy our own uniform, but we did get the helmet for free though. Not the best armour in the game. I remember using the Initiate and later the upgraded Proselyte armour quite a bit in Old School for the prayer bonus, but without 100% damage reduction from protection prayers, and those being a long way off yet anyway, it's probably going to be better to just stick to the core armour sets. And I was debating staying female for a little while, but Storyscape is definitely a male, and the outfits are better, so never mind. Thank you for watching, if you are still watching. Don't forget to like and comment if you've got something to say, because it really helps the video in the algorithm, and if you're new here, maybe subscribe for more. You can check out all of Season 1 here, and either the last episode or the next episode, or a random video, I don't know, I haven't decided yet, is going to be on the other side. For now though, stay safe, see you next week, peace.